Manchester United have gone into the shortlist again and written a new name. And that name is Manu Koné. It has been reported that Manchester United are looking at Manu Koné and seeing whether he would be the right man to bring to Manchester United, especially after hearing that he's looking to challenge himself in the Premier League. That was the report. And so because of the reports happened this morning and happened today, I said, let me pause on making this video in order for me to watch Manu Koné in the game against Morocco. Hopefully, I was hoping that he was going to play against Morocco, and he absolutely started. And in this particular game, I was impressed. I was so impressed with Manu Koné because we were looking at 100% long pass accuracy against Morocco. 100% tackles won. 92% accuracy. 75 ground duels won. 16 carries. 6 passes into the final third. 5 ball recoveries. 2 progressive carries. 2 fouls won. 1 chance created. And he is on Manchester United's list. Now, this absolutely gave me excitement in a high way because, my goodness, was I impressed by what he did today. However, I'm still not convinced for him being our marquee player. I'm still not convinced. I am more convinced of Baleba being a success at Manchester United than of Manu Koné being a success at Manchester United. Now, I understand that absolutely would come as a shock to a lot of people because of what Baleba did this season. But to be honest with you, based on what we need at Manchester United, based on the signings that we have, based on the midfielders that we have in that department, I just look at what we need and it just screams Carlos Baleba. It just screams Carlos Baleba. And yes, you could say Carlos Baleba of 2024 and 25 is not the same Carlos of 25, 26. But you don't all of a sudden overnight become a bad player. We understood what made him lose concentration. And that was the talk of Manchester United coming in for him. We believe that is what the situation is. But trust me when I say this. Carlos Baleba has every single thing that Manu Koné has, and he is 22 while Manu Koné is 25. I also understand that Carlos Baleba is a Premier League proven midfielder, has done it in big games like against Manchester City, and Manu Koné is a punt on someone that comes from Serie A. I'm not saying Manu Koné is not a good player, but it is a bigger risk. And that right there is my decision. That is the reason I'm looking at this situation and I'm like, I'm not really sure that this is the right move for Manchester United to make. And so what I did was that I looked at those 3 players. The ideal number 6 for me was Aurelien Tchouameni coming to Manchester United. However, we know Aurelien Tchouameni has signed a contract with Real Madrid that keeps him in Real Madrid till 2031. We understand, and that deal can absolutely go to rest. But we can utilize what we know from Aurelien Tchouameni and see what we can put in to this particular team. First things first, we have to also look at what we have. We have Kobe Mainoo. Now we have Andre Santos, and we just might have Anderson or Edison. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now Edison's situation is a little bit more weird because of his medical is taking so long. It's been a month because before we have seen anything from Edison in terms of a medical. However, Fabrizio Romano has come out and said the first medical is going to take place this week. However, when you're looking at the holistic nature of our midfield, the question still lies, what are we lacking? What is going to be the balance? From what I've watched from Chelsea fans and how they are describing Andre Santos. Andre Santos is going to be a deep line creative midfielder. Somebody that can break the lines. You get me? Somebody that can create tempo. Just like Kobe Mainoo. You get me? He's not the fastest. He's not the most athletic. However, he does cover some space. He's able to get the ball and be able to be press resistant and then lead the pace. The focus is his brain. and his ability, his technical ability, and not his athleticism. But one thing that I have been beating the drum for is that if we are getting somebody to replace Casemiro, we need to get somebody that is more athletic than Casemiro, that has the ability to defend front foot and back foot. Someone that understands what it means to let every single person that is attacking go forward, including Kobe Mainoo, and be disciplined enough to sit back and shield the back four, or the back three, or the back five. It don't matter. But those are the things that absolutely are paramount and key to what we want and what I believe is going to be the right move for Manchester United in terms of a profile. And it all goes back to Carlos Baleba. Now, this season, it was definitely Tchouaméni, because Tchouaméni is somebody, we have seen it in the World Cup, and his ability to just let the players go forward. And he sits back and does the boring work, the boring but important or most important work. We have seen it. We have seen it multiple times with Real Madrid. And now we are seeing it with Manu Koné. In the last few games in the World Cup, Manu Koné has started over Aurelio Tchouaméni. I don't know whether it's an injury or something. However, in my mind, I'm still not convinced about Manu Koné. All the things that I mentioned, the athleticism, I'm not seeing it from Manu Koné. He's not jumping out at me the way Carlos Baleba jumped out at me in 24-25 season. I've watched this game, the entire game today against Morocco. The entire game against Morocco. And I still haven't seen the jump out. I still haven't seen the jump out from Manu Koné. On everything I love. I'm trying to be as real as possible for you guys to understand me. What I saw in Carlos Baleba in 24-25 is truly a remarkable sight. I'm telling you, it was something that I haven't seen in a midfielder since N'Golo Kante. And we have the opportunity to go in and get Carlos Baleba on a cheaper price than what we could have gotten him last 2 seasons. So it doesn't make any sense for me to say, let us go for Manu Koné when Carlos Baleba is going to be there. Yes, Carlos Baleba might be more expensive than Manu Koné. He might be more expensive, but to me, it is truly, it's crystal clear to me on who is going to be a success. Now, I might be wrong because I haven't been doing scouting. I've never been a professional scout. However, I can see with my eyes, with the years of football that I've watched or played, I can see when somebody jumps out on my screen. It's like literally watching basketball for a second. Seeing the difference between Dennis Schroeder and Kyrie Irving. They are both good point guards, but one jumps out at your screen and the other does the dirty work. You understand? One is going to be a superstar and the other is a little bit skeptical. Yes, even though Dennis Schroeder got offered big bag in Lakers and famously refused it, Kyrie Irving, every single way he goes, is going to get that bag. And that is what I'm trying to say in this situation. If we do not go in to get Carlos Baleba and somebody else gets Carlos Baleba, we will regret it. I'm saying it. I need to be as frank as possible. Because I believe Carlos Baleba is truly extraordinary. Based on what we know. Okay, let's break it down based on the stats. I have the stats up here. This is going to be the 25-26 season where he was the worst that we have seen him in the Premier League. You get me? 22 years of age. Minutes per game was 54. For Manu Koné, it was 85. And for Tchouaméni was 79. 79 minutes per game. Total minutes played this season was 1,677. For Manu Koné, he dwarfs him in 2,459. And then, when you look at Tchouaméni, Chouameni is 2,622. Now, this is the situation. When we get to the attacking aspect of the game, this season, Carlos Baleba's attacking situation dropped so much. Not just because he did not play a lot of games. He did not start the season right. And Fabian Hosler just phased him out of his system. It just did. He was not the number one call. And I understand that. He had 0.75. Manu Koné had 2.11. While Chouameni had 2.66. So Chouameni is definitely the biggest one. That's expected goals. Now, we are not literally looking at these players for goals per se. However, the good thing of Andre Santos, what we saw in France and what I did a research about in France, he had 10 goals and 3 assists. So that goal involvement and goal contribution of Casemiro hopefully would then tie to Andre Santos and not to either Carlos Baleba or Manu Koné, because these two do not have those things in their locker. Even though Carlos Baleba has a shot for days, that is one thing that the stats will not tell you. The dude understands and knows how to strike the football better than most, especially from outside the box. And that's one thing that Manu Koné does not have. I've not seen it in all the games. I've not seen it in all the comps. I've not seen it in so many times that I've seen Manu Koné play. Especially today. He did not even get in the position. But then let's go to the passes. And this is where Manu Koné in this season absolutely blows Carlos Baleba away. He had 3 assists this season. In fact, let's make this like this, because I don't think it's fair on Carlos Baleba. Because I think this is Manu Koné's best season so far. So let's see the 24-25 season. Let's give it a bit of context. You understand? We'll keep Manu Koné's season of 25-26 and then look at Carlos Baleba's 24-25 season to give you comparison. Now, when it comes to minutes per game, he played 79 minutes per game, played 34 games, and in this particular one, Manu Koné surpasses him. But minutes played, he went 26-70 for minutes played. In this season, he had 3 goals. Expected goals was 3.08. So he underperformed by 0.08, in that situation. So he basically dwarfs Manu Koné in his best season and Carlos Baleba's best season. And then goals per game was 0.1 for Carlos Baleba and 0.1 for Manu Koné. So they're the same in that situation. Shots on target was 0.3 and 0.2 for Manu Koné. But then this situation is not the best in terms of covering a defensive midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder. You understand? Let's go into the defensive aspects of these two players. Carlos Baleba is literally fighting with Aurelien Chouameni in this season. Talk less of Manu Koné. You understand? Talk less of Manu flipping Koné. In the 24-25 season, interceptions per game was 1.4. Manu Koné's interceptions per game this season is 0.6. That's a huge gap. That's a difference. That might be a 3 points difference. You get me? Chouameni, that is literally the ideal target or the ideal candidate for Manchester United, is 1.4 also. That's for his interceptions this season. The tackles for Carlos Baleba was 2.3. 2.3 in tackles per game. What does Manu Koné have this season? 1.7. And Chouameni, this season, bear in mind, this is the ideal target for Manchester United, has 2.1. Dribble past for Carlos Baleba is 0.9. Dribble past for Manu Koné is 1.0. And dribble past for Tchouaméni is 0.5. So Tchouaméni has the lowest dribble past in that situation. Clearances, he has 1.3 in Carlos Baleba, while Manu Koné has 1.0 and Tchouaméni has 1.7. So what am I trying to tell you in this situation? I'm trying to tell you that looking at these three players, their best seasons that made Manchester United look at them, Carlos Baleba is still the best option, especially removing Aurelien Tchouaméni, because he has signed a new contract for Real Madrid. And so I'm trying to get people to understand this situation. Please understand this. What Manchester United need is an athletic number 6, somebody that can cover large gaps of transitional space, large gap of grass. We need somebody that will be able to go left to right in a split second. Would be able to go from south to north in a split second. And Manu Koné is not the athletic one. It's not the answer when it comes to that situation. It is Carlos Baleba. And yes, you can tell me Carlos Baleba did bad this season. We all know why. We all know why he wanted to come to Manchester United. Look at the successful dribbles, because Carlos Baleba is not just a defensive midfielder. He's somebody that can convert into a box-to-box and actually do that very, very well. Because last 2 seasons, which is 24-25 season, he had 1.0 successful dribbles, which is 62.3% dribbles per game. Why Manu Koné has 1.0 also, but in this situation, it is 61.7%. Aurelien Tchouaméni doesn't dribble, so that's a different situation. He's a specialist in number 6. He doesn't carry the ball. Ground duels, 1. Carlos Baleba has 4.7 per game, and that is 54.6%. While Manu Koné has 4.4 per game and 50.4%. Doesn't come close to Carlos Baleba. Come on now, guys. Let's figure this out. Area duels 1, he is in the 59.1%. While Aurelien Tchouaméni is 75.8%. And then Manu Koné is 50.9%. I'm telling you guys this thing so clearly. Carlos Baleba is the right man for Manchester United to get in that number 6 position. He is the right man to get to replace Casemiro. And the truth of the matter is, he's also good enough. He is 5'10", while Manu Koné is 6'1". But he is good enough in the aerial duels, and he will be improving. And for Ineos, if you are watching this, Manu Koné is 25 years old, while Carlos Baleba is 22 and has already proven that he is a baller in the Premier League. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and let me know in the comment section who you would pick between Manu Koné and Carlos Baleba. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.